Hello everybody and welcome to Socialist Techie. I'm Jerome. Great to have you here today. So if you're looking for an ad blocker that blocks ads not only in your internet browser, but on your television and your cell phone, and not only your cell phone, but the apps within your cell phone, then what you're looking for is something known as Pihole. Now, it was originally developed for the Raspberry Pi, which is where the name Pihole comes from. However, it has been ported over to Docker. So today what we're going to be doing is installing this on our local Docker machine. Now for me, that's a 2009 Mac Pro that I use as a server throughout my home for various things. But this guide will hold true on a PC, on Linux, basically any Docker environment. So that said, let's key up the sexy voiceover and get this thing installed. Alright, the first thing we're going to need to do is have Docker installed. Just head over to the Docker website and download and install the version for your OS. Setup is as simple as opening the installer and letting it do its thing. Now if you're on Linux, you're going to want to add your oh, that's right, I don't have to tell you how to do anything. You're on Linux. You probably already have Docker installed. Anyway, yeah, install your Docker. Next, we want to give the computer running Pihole a static IP address. I'll demonstrate how to do this on Mac OS. For Windows, you're just going to go into your network settings, find your adapter, right-click it, go to Properties, and set your IP address there. For Linux, you don't need my help. You're running Linux. You're good. So for Mac, we're going to go ahead and open up our system preferences, go to Network. We're going to select the connection that we want, and we're going to set it to 192.168.2.2 for me. For you, this may be different. You're going to want to know what sort of IP range your router is using. So as you can see here, we have gotten Docker installed on our desktop. We're going to go ahead and give it privileged access. We're going to go ahead and run through the accept terms, all that. And then one thing we want to do before we do any of this is start it up. So you can see we've got it running there. Alright, so now we're going to want to open up for Mac OS and for Linux, our terminal. For Windows, you're going to open up Command Prompt. You're going to input the code docker pull Pihole/Pihole. Once again, I'll leave all of this in the description below. We're going to let everything download, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so once that is complete, it is time to give Docker the parameters that we want to run our Pihole with. I want to note that this is a long string of text, and it is all one string. So there are several parameters that we're going to need to change. Your first one right there, your ServerIP. That's going to be the IP address that we set for the server. Next, you want to change your time zone. Now, this is a TZ time zone. I'll provide a link in the description, but for us, it's going to be America's Chicago. Now, on your web password, you do need to set this, because if you do not, it will create a random password and you'll have a whole lot of issue getting in there. Now, on the DNSs 1 and 2, these right now are set for Cloudflare. That's perfectly acceptable. However, I use my NordVPN DNS servers. So for me, I am going to go ahead and change those. Now, I am going to go ahead and copy my own code off screen with my password set. That way you don't see it and all that. Alright, so once you have all your edits done to your line there, with your DNS, your IP address, all that, you're going to go ahead and paste that into your terminal and hit enter. This should be all you need to do. This has created the Docker container. It's running with the parameters we set. After we've run that, on the machine that you're running, there's one more setting that needs to be changed. Let's go back to our network settings, and we need to change our DNS. For the machine we're on, we're going to put the DNS server of 127.0.0.1. Alright, so if you just go to pi.hole in your browser, it will bring up the Pihole admin server. And then if you'll go over to login, just put in that password you set earlier. I've got mine saved, so I'm just going to click the little button and log in. And that will give you full access to your dashboard. That will allow you to make changes to DNSs later if you want to, or to add things to the whitelist or the blacklist, or to see who is in fact pinging all of your ads. Now the final thing that we need to do is go into our router and set it to use our Pihole server as the DNS. Now this will vary from router to router, but typically you'll just log in, go to your WAN settings, and then find the section that says DNS. Now you'll see we put ours at 192.168.2.2 because that's what we set our Pihole at. You will set this for the IP address that you selected earlier. Once you save that, your entire network will use your Pihole as its DNS server and filter out all your ad traffic. Alright humans, there it is. Easy enough, right? Now, a couple things. Number one, whatever machine that you put this on, be sure to set the power state so that it does not turn off. Because if you do, we had pointed our router back to this computer. So if it turns off, you will lose DNS throughout the house. You will not have internet on any of your devices. So just go to your power management settings and set this thing to never sleep. And number two, if you ever run into an issue where it is blocking a site that you actually want to go to, which I have not personally, but if you do, on the admin page there is a whitelist setting. You can add any sort of server that you want to in there to not block it, and you'll be good to go. So, appreciate you guys coming. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something. So, take it easy.